guys, so I'm back today to finish up. I can't believe we're at the end of the month here for the 31 days of tarot. I'm going to do 26 through the end. And this month has gone by really fast because I feel like I just started this. And I'm excited that I actually kept going through the whole thing. I'm not real great at finishing challenges that I start. If you see on Instagram, almost every month I'm like, yes, I really like this tarot challenge, I'm going to do that, and then it doesn't really happen. But so here we are at the end. So number 26 was thoughts on tarot becoming mainstream, and I kind of agree with a lot of different people have said I don't think tarot will ever become mainstream. I do think because technology is such that we kind of all have a community where we feel like there's a lot of people who agree with us and, you know, do the same kind of things that we do. It's easy to think everybody's doing tarot now. But when I look around in my quote-unquote real world, I'm like the only one I know in my immediate like work area and my couple friends and that kind of stuff that does tarot. So I don't think there's ever a worry of it becoming mainstream. Now, I do think I would love for the census, the next census in America, to really look into how many people identify with an earth-based religion. Not necessarily saying they're pagan or Wicca or whatever, but I would really love to know the numbers because it does seem to be growing, and I think that more people are definitely identifying with treating the earth as, you know, as it deserves to be treated, and looking at the spiritual deity as not just a male deity, as a male-female or a female-oriented deity. I would love to see the numbers on that. And I think part of it is it's hard to see the numbers because so many people still are quote-unquote in the closet. As far as they don't feel like they are ready to come out to their family or to the people at work or something because they fear retribution or that people won't accept them for their belief system, which is sad, but I certainly understand that some people still feel the need to be in the closet like that. I have, luckily, for the most part, I have found that people are curious about my belief systems and ask a lot of questions and love when I pull out the tarot and stuff like that. But, you know, I still have, within my family, I have people that, not that they don't accept it, but they don't understand it and they struggle with it. My mother will say to me a lot, well, it seems that, like, I'll put the horned god up and she'll be like, well, isn't that like the devil? And it's hard to explain sometimes, you know, where your belief systems are. But anyways, so no, I don't think it's necessarily really going to become mainstream. So number 27, share your first professional reading experience. So I was really thinking about this question a lot, and I don't remember if I've had a tarot professional reading ever, which then I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, really? I never have? So part of the reason I wanted to go to the psychic fair that we went to yesterday, because I thought, you know what, I'm going to get a reading and see, because I don't remember ever getting a reading. I think I've had kind of a reading, but it was more at the church that I went to for a long time. They have a psychic Saturday once a month, but they do more like a mediumship type thing. It wasn't a tarot reading. So anyways, I went because I was going to do that, and when I went to the psychic fair, I had every intention of getting a reading, and I decided not to do that when I got there. Every single reader there was a lot of different readers, and some of them I kind of felt like probably would do a good job, but I was not willing to spend $50 for 15 minutes. Sorry, but I just, especially when I'm a tarot reader, I thought, I'm not spending that. And that, it must have been for that fair. First of all, we paid $8 to get in, so my husband and I went, we paid $16 just to get in the door. And I thought, I'm not paying, that's a lot of money for 15 minutes. Especially when I pull tarot cards. I'm just not doing that. So I still, as yet, have not had a professional tarot reading. So I don't know how to answer that question. I haven't. Number 28, share one celebrity that you would refuse to read for no matter how much they paid and why. I'm sure there's tons of people out there who have tons of different ideas of annoying celebrities and stuff. For me, it would be Kanye West and all of the Kardashians. I think Kanye West is a egotistical ass. And I think he just shows that over and over and over. The whole thing with the Taylor Swift, not that I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I like her music and stuff, but whatever. I just think him going up onto the stage when she was getting ready to accept her award and like taking over her speech and talking about how she didn't deserve it. And who the hell are you? He's just, and then he did it again, kind of. And I don't know. He's just an ass. And the Kardashians are idiots. They're famous idiots for being rich from a rich family. And I have never, I'm proud to say I've never watched their show. I will never watch their show. I don't follow them. I don't care what they're doing. I think it's retarded for them to be famous for coming from a rich family. Never. I don't care to know any of them. Don't care what happens to them, whatever. I don't like that. Okay. So that's where I stand. And 29. What are your beliefs around the mechanics of a reading? How do you think it works? Is your subconscious, higher self, spirit? I believe in... I follow science a lot. And I believe that the science of the tarot has to do with energy. And they have proven that like energies attract, which is why they talk about, if you want prosperity, you put out into the universe that energy of good prosperity, and that's what you are attracted to. And that kind of energy attaches itself to prosperity energy, and that grows into a chain of prosperity. And that's what you're attracted to. So I think that the cards are a result of the energies that the querent is putting out there. And that energy is kind of stuck out in the universe. And as a tarot reader, I just try to latch on to whatever that energy is. And the cards come based on that's the energy of the card that is on that card, wants to come out and let that querent know that that's the energies they're putting up there. That's my thought on it. Do I know for sure? Absolutely not. But that is, I believe a lot in science, and scientifically that is what I believe happens. Number 30. What is the most culturally inclusive deck you own? So, mine, when I really thought about it, I believe, is the Modern Spellcasters Tarot. I really like this deck because it's, to me, it's a very pagan deck. It has, deities of every race, religion, color. Almost every card is inclusive in some way. Alright, that's not really. Has lots of people from different races, different religions, different creeds, different parts of the world, different parts of the universe. There's, some entities on here that I believe are probably not of this world. But I love that this deck really includes everyone. And like I said, almost every card is, I think they made a point of having people from every different cultural norm as possible so that nobody was left out. And for me, there you go with the otherworldly. Obviously that female is not from this world. But for me, that is, I love that from this deck. Because when I'm reading for someone, it is like anything else. It is nice to feel like you are represented in a deck. If I am just reading for myself, I love this one. Look at this one. Such a great card. The older multiracial couple and the children. Yeah, I just, great cards. Love this card. A beautiful woman. Some people, I love that the lovers in this card, you can't tell what color they are, what race they are, what creed they are, what religion they are, what sex they are, whatever. They could be lovers from anything. Again, otherworldly. So there has been, I have seen my fellow community people's videos on this, a couple already. There we go. Who have talked about how they don't have a whole lot of inclusive decks, and they don't feel necessarily like they need to, and that is fine too. And I certainly understand, especially if you're just reading for yourself, that if you are a white woman, that you may feel funny about specifically going out and seeking out a culturally inclusive deck. I have a hard time with this whole concept of appropriation, and I will be totally honest with that, and I really feel like to each his own, but I have a hard time with it because I feel like we're specifically, I don't know how to say this the right way. I hate trying to say this without, the cultural appropriation thing for me is a very difficult concept to grasp, because when I was growing up, the whole point of racism was that you were trying to not to reach out to another race, another gender, another type of person, that you were excluding them. And so my generation was specifically trying to change that so that everybody felt like they should be reaching out to other people who are not like you. And now it seems when you do that, you have to kind of walk this line of appropriation, that you're not stealing their culture. And while I understand that when you are profiting from another person's culture, at the same time, I don't think seeking out a deck that is culturally diverse means that I'm appropriating anything. And I don't think that looking into voodoo practices and trying out voodoo floor wash that is supposed to cleanse out some negativity and stuff is appropriating that culture. I think that that's including that culture. So there's a line there, and I would never try to profit from another person's culture. But at the same time, I just don't understand, to me, how trying to include another person's culture means you're appropriating them. And please, if you feel like you have a different thought in mind, I welcome you to make comments. It's okay. I've always said nobody has to believe what I believe. That's part of why I love this religion. Okay, so 31. What are your favorite tarot apps, and do you work with them, or on what platform? So I don't work with a lot of apps because I carry my cards with me everywhere, a whole bunch. Usually I try to say I'm only going to carry 1 or 2 decks, and I end up with 4 or 5. I do have, it's called Galaxy, I think, Galaxy Tarot app on there, and I don't use it for readings because I'm still learning some of the cards. I have it in case I am pulling cards for someone or for myself, and I want to quickly say, hey, what is the general consensus of what this card means, because I don't think I'm quite getting the meaning right. There's a feature that you can browse the cards, so you can press, King of Cups, and it'll tell you the general consensus of what that card means, and that's how I use it. So I don't use it to actually read from. I don't ever like pull a reading from the phone. It's not that I have anything against it. I just like to be able to shuffle the cards myself and feel the cards in your hands. And energetically, I'm not sure how that would work through satellite or through whatever the air, the electronic signals in the air. I don't know how they would feel the energies on this side. So I just don't use it like that. But I do have one. It's called Galaxy Tarot, I believe. And I just use it once in a while when I want to clarify and I'm not quite sure on what a card means. So that's it. That is the end of our 31 Days of Tarot. I thank everyone for joining me. I think this has been a great month for learning what everyone thinks about everyone's belief systems on the tarot. I've really enjoyed a lot of other people's videos. I haven't had as much time as I wanted to. I still would like to go through and see some others, but I have found quite a few new people through the 31 Days of Tarot. And I thank Ethony for hosting the whole thing, and I think it's been great. So yay, that's the end for this year. I hope you guys have a great Sunday and do something great.